very
Right.
interesting.
Hellboy, the Crooked Man. We saw this on Friday. I think we did need a bit of time to think about this because it's, first things first, it's weird. I know that the American audience isn't seeing this in cinemas at all. It'll get a digital release on the 7th, so I think that's next Monday or Tuesday
Yeah.
even. So it's still a week until people can see it. So I'm going to go, well, we're both going to go non-spoilery at the beginning, first half at review, and then we're going to talk spoilers if we feel like it's necessary towards the
Yeah.
end.
I definitely think we could a little bit.
But
So
yeah,
yeah, to start this off, of course, this is on a much smaller budget. It didn't really get any marketing other than like a solid trailer. Um, the budget, it's sad because like if this probably had a bit of a bigger budget, it could have probably been phenomenal. I just think there's a lot of things going for it. First off, I
yes.
want to say Hellboy, if they do anything now in the future, whether it be a show or a movie, it needs to go full horror because it works so fucking well for this universe
Yeah.
and this character. So, you know, with the last film we got, which was sort of, I never saw it. It looked like it was trying to copy a Marvel or a
Big
superhero.
spectacle sort of film.
Yeah, it just for me, it didn't find I didn't find it appealing, despite David Harbour playing the role. Um, this though, I mean, this is a Hellboy. This is
Yeah.
if it wasn't for the film, and I think the film holds it back, but definitely if you put sort of this guy in the place of Ron Perlman's, I mean, they're very close here. They're very close.
Yeah, Jack Kesey was great in this. I actually really liked his Hellboy. Chain smoking all the time. The prosthetics and stuff like that were serviceable for the film. You know.
I I think the worst part for his prosthetics was definitely just the hair on the side. That was like
Yeah.
the only bad part that I saw of the film. Everything else looked great because you see his torso, his chest, the horns and stuff,
Yeah.
the way, the color, the shading of it looks really good on screen.
And there's bits, like we say with the budget, there's bits in this film where they're walking somewhere and it's a bit too dark because they don't want to show you everything that's going on. There's something right at the beginning with the CGI. It's like, all right, but I know what I'm getting myself into here. I'm accepting this budget from the beginning. So it's like,
100%.
I'm not going to judge it on that because I know it's not the Marvels, and it fucking still having some shit CGI in it. So then, and this one, shit
Yeah.
CGI, it worked for
No.
the film. But the biggest thing I want to say about this film is it was creepy. It was creepy.
Yes.
It wasn't an action film, but had some pretty good action moments in it. But I think this whole film was about atmosphere, and how
Yes.
it made you feel, and just people being about. This isn't really spoilery, but this is set in the 1950s going into the 60s. I love the whole premise of this film is we need to get to a phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like, oh, that's why it's great setting it back then.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, it's a great thing when movies do this. They take it back a notch. Look, you start adding all this advanced technology and all this nano stuff, like the Marvel films are doing. You kind of lose that weight of it. Do you know what I mean? It loses something. It's cool, it's flashy, it's new, but it just, I think a good way to counter that is definitely going back in time, slimming things down a bit, restricting some of the bits, and I think that's obviously, of course, because of the budget. Let's be real here, but what they did with the budget here, fucking fantastic. I think my big issues with it is definitely, I don't know if it was because of the cinema we seen it in, but it was hard to understand certain characters when they were
Yeah.
speaking. It was very
That's an
muffled.
Appalachian Mountains for you.
Well, it's not even that. It's just that the sound felt a little muffled at
Yeah.
times. Visually, though, everything I seen on screen was fucking amazing.
The
It looked so good.
Crooked Man looked great.
I'm on the side of I don't think the Crooked Man looked that great.
Do you not?
No, I would rather have a bit more of a mystery to the character, but I felt like you just see his face. They show his face. They don't have any sort of like creepy unknown elements to him. It's just kind of that's his face. There he is.
I like the slow approaching bit of it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
And
what I
it's
mean. Yeah,
like,
I like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the
Um. Yeah. I think
and the horny horse
the
lady.
issue. Yeah. The plot of the film is definitely interesting. It's I don't see too many holes in the plot, and I don't see any sort of real major issues. I just think it's the pacing of the film that it's where it's suffering.
Yes,
Because at least the beginning was sound, it was fine. But then you jump straight to, again, don't want to do any spoilers, but you jump to introducing a character um, that plays a pivotal role in obviously in the story. He's in the story for the most of the film. I just don't feel like he was introduced. It was like, oh, he's fucking there and he's talking. It's
yeah.
like there was no introduction.
It suffers from runtime and pacing, and
Yes.
but I would say that's my biggest issues with it. I really feel like they should have given this a chance to go full cinematic, but not film like a full cinematic release, because not even a full one, but like at least put it out there to show some interest in it, because I feel like this is just me, because I'm saying this right now, I rather enjoyed this film. I think this might go down as like a Dread. It's like everyone's like, nobody saw Dread when it came out, and then it's like that's a film like I want to find myself wanting to watch all the time. Now, maybe not as good. I'm not saying this is as good as Dread, because Dread's fucking phenomenal, but and I'm not even saying this is
I
going to
would
be.
watch this again.
I
would
really
watch
want to
this
watch
again.
this again, but it's like
Yeah.
I don't think I need to see it in cinema again, though. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel like for me, just on the visual side, I think I would like to. Again, because the visual, the atmosphere, the creepy tone of it, it looks great. It looks magnificent on the big screen, and it really works for it. Like we went into this, after hearing that this isn't getting a full theatrical run, I went into it thinking, okay, so this isn't going to be as, it's not going to have that cinema feel to it.
Yeah.
Like some films do. We've had films that have released in cinema, and it's like it could have released on TV or on streaming. On the opposite side, one that's come out recently, Prey, that should have been in the cinema.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it wasn't. But it's just, it's one of those weird things, and it worked for the cinema. It really worked for the cinema. It's just sad that not a lot of people are going to get a chance to see it in the cinema.
Well, the three of us was in there, and there was only two other people.
Yeah.
And this was Friday night, a decent time. You'd have thought it would have been at least a couple of people wondering in, going, I'll just go check what's going on at movies. I'll go see that.
Yeah.
So
it's sad, but that's what we got to do, I guess. But if you get a chance to see this film, if you can go see it in the cinema, I think Callum, you would agree with me. Definitely go see it in the cinema.
Well, I say
if you can.
see everything in the cinema. If there's a chance to see it in the cinema,
Yeah.
that experience will be with you as your first experience of it, and it's always better to see it that way. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm with here. So yeah, guys, get your biggest TV. If it's showing anywhere near you right now, go see it. I'm not saying this is an amazing film, but it deserves a little bit of love. It's fun.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And it didn't... What do I say? What's the biggest sin of a film?
What, bore you?
Yeah. It didn't bore me
Yeah.
once. Didn't...
No, it suffered from the pacing issue,
Yeah.
but because of just like we were saying, just the world of it and
But
the
not
way
like
it looks and everything, and
not like a dragging pace. It was like a bit too fast paced and some weird cuts.
yes, it did,
Yeah,
yeah. In the middle though, I do think it kind of drags some of the bits, but just the sort of like when they're moving from place to place, that's where
yeah,
I felt like it dragged a bit. But no, definitely this film, it kept me hooked because we was with our friend Wayne and he just turned to me and said, "This is fucking weird," and he asked me, "Do you like it?" And I'm like, "I think so, yeah," because
I heard you.
I'm intrigued,
Yeah,
I'm hooked. So yeah, it definitely keeps you hooked. I agree with Colin. I don't think this is like the best film of the year or
top
phenomenal or
or
anything like
top
that.
10. It's not, but
Yeah,
it's worth
it's
watching.
pretty damn good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
still
feel like if this was having a theatrical release and people were going out to see it, I wouldn't feel like I need to sit here and say as much going, go watch it, go watch it. But I feel like this is going to fly under the radar for a lot of people. I'd show up, like people at work who'll say, "Oh, what you doing? What you seeing this weekend?" Because I know I like to go to movies. And they say, "Oh, what are you going to be reviewing?" and stuff like that. So I'm off to go see new Hellboy. It's like, there's a new Hellboy coming out. The
I
day it were
spoke
coming
to
out.
yeah, I spoke to a friend as well, and they said the same thing. They actually thought it was a show that was meant to come out. Now, one thing I want to say here as well is, if they were not going to give this a full theatrical run, then why not just, take it back a bit? You've got all your production there.
Yeah.
Maybe, put a little bit of money into it and make it a show. Because show is, making shows now is the hot thing right now. And
Yeah.
having a horror-esque, selling it to, one of the big companies out there.
Yeah. A
Like,
horror-esque Hellboy show
yeah,
coming out around about Halloween would have done pretty well, I think.
absolutely.
So, yeah. But like as well as said, I'm not saying this is a scary film. It's just creepy and weird. And it's definitely a
Yes.
step in the right direction for Hellboy. Maybe
Yes.
maybe in another 5 years or so we get a show with Jack Casey. Or maybe the recast again. Obviously I'd love to see him back in the role. I thought he was great as Hellboy.
100%.
Really nailed the character, I think. And yes, just because I'm saying I love Jack Casey as Hellboy doesn't mean I automatically hate Ron Perlman as Hellboy. Yeah, we're understanding how black and white the internet is these days. Of like, well, you said you like that, so that must mean you hate that. No, I love Ron Perlman as well, but Jack, yeah, he was great. I do want to see more of him. I don't think we will, and that's something I'll live with. But we've got this good film to watch. Very comic book accurate as well.
Yep. I don't really. I think now that we've spoke about, I don't think there's really anything spoiler-esque to talk about. But I'm just gonna say it anyways. Spoilers in case there is something. Yeah, I can't really think of anything that I can necessarily spoil. I think the ending of the film could have had a bit more work. I felt like
Yeah.
the church scene in the middle got all the love, whereas
Yes.
the ending sort of didn't. You can definitely tell the budget went into that church, but it worked. It was a great
Yeah.
set piece, and it worked.
Well, it give you like your action in the middle, and then right, let's give you your horror at the end. I feel like that's the angle they were going with.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
It went horror, action, horror kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But a lot of body horror as well. Stuff happening to people.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is the raccoon, the snake.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, there's a lot of fucked up witchcraft-esque
Yeah.
things that happen in this film. But it worked. It worked really well for this film, and I do hope this is a universe that we will come back to, and I do hope that this is a Hellboy.
Yeah.
This is our Hellboy. You know what I mean?
Do you find yourself now maybe wanting to read The Crooked Man?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
This has got me more interested in the Hellboy character than don't want to say it, but the Ron Perlman films.
Yeah.
Just the atmosphere is very different from what I kind of expected. I knew this film going into this film it was going to be different. I didn't expect it to be this different, and I loved every bit of it. It got me really hooked, and yeah, I think I definitely will.
Yeah, no, it's a solid read, actually. And this is coming from someone who can't read.
Nice.
So, what we're giving it out of 10?
I want to give it a 6.5.
I'm about there with you. I'm going to say, because I'm feeling a bit more generous because no one's going to see it, I'm going to say like 6.9. It's not quite a 7, but it's fun and enjoyable. And look, if you're just going to chuck it on at home, it's worth it. It's not that long. It's an hour and 40 minutes with credits. So, definitely.
I mean, do you know what? I'll say this, right? Instead of going to watch those god-awful horror films that are probably coming out during the Halloween period, go see this if you can. If you've got this playing at the cinema, go see this. It's got that creepy vibe, you know, it fits the tone, and it's not going to be, you know, shit. You know, it's not amazing or anything, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have more chance of enjoying this than, I'd say, the horrible ass horror flicks we get these days.
Look, am I going to remember this film by the end of the year? You know, when it comes to lists? Probably not. But let's say I'm flicking through Netflix, for example, in a year's time, and it's on there. You know, when you're looking for stuff to watch, that I'd see that and I'd go, oh, fuck yeah, I'm sticking that on.
I disagree and agree at the same time. I think I still will remember it towards the end of the year if we're doing our top 10. I think it's a contender for somewhere.
It's like the honourable like mention.
Somewhat like that, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, 6.9 from me, or 69. Right, guys, let us know. Did you see Hellboy the Crooked Man? Was it showing in your area? Did you know there was a new Hellboy movie out? Did you see it? Did you not like it? Let us know. You know, we're open to everything. Do you think Jack Kessie was a good Hellboy? Do you think he wasn't that good? Did you like the prosthetics? Did you not? Did you like the new Hellboy? Who knows? What did you think of the film? And I'm going to start chain smoking and then eating my cigarettes halfway through.
Nice.
First time he did that, I was like, that's fucking gross. He just keeps doing it. But yeah, right. Cheers, guys.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for watching. Oh, you want to add, Kyle?
No.
No. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later.